All right, here we go. All right, I need to. What is happening, YouTube and weight loss warriors? It's your boy C Dub. I see two of you already here. That's good stuff, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pulling up on my phone the show so that I can listen to it and you guys won't have to hear the noise in the background. But I'm looking forward to checking this thing out in 1 minute when it gets started because I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before, but I did watch the show when I was overweight back in the day, and I really enjoyed the show. I didn't really know a lot about obviously weight loss in the same way that I do now, but I looking back on it, I think the show was pretty messed up, and obviously there wasn't a lot of results, but it'd be interesting to see now that we're well aware of where the show was at in the past, then it's going to be interesting to see where it's going in the future, how that kind of is going to correlate with each other and see if they've learned anything from their mistakes. What's happening, Platinum? It's good to see you. I hope all you guys are ready to check this thing out. Um, you like watching it while you eat pizza. Hey, look, back in the day, I used to do that kind of thing. And here's the sad part is I used to watch the show and think, man, at least I'm not that big. And that was like what we used to really literally go on in my head. It was almost validation to see other people that were overweight and know that I wasn't as overweight as them. So one problem with watching this on my phone is it seems like it's going to go black every couple of seconds, which is a bit of an issue. The start time should allow me to start the show now. Let's see if I can get it going. Start watching episode 1. All right. Excited about this. We'll see how this goes. And boy, is it loud up in my ear. I'll tell you what. All right. So I got my first ad ready to go. I'm going to set the phone right over here. Now, I'm not sure how it'll be considering I'm streaming it on my phone and you guys might be watching it like, on your TV. So it might be slightly different for me than it is for you time wise. So that's going to be interesting. But, overall, it's going to be a good show here. And it's a little weird that Bob's hosting the thing. It's just 12 people. I believe the old show used to have 16. So that'll be interesting to see too. And one of the things I'm gonna already can tell that I'm gonna enjoy about this Biggest Loser is hearing people's backstories because, I think people's backstories are just amazing to see what they've come through and what they're gonna go through going on down the road. I also think it's going to be interesting to see these new trainers and how they act. I know that the female trainer, I'm not sure her name yet. I guess I'll find out in a minute. The female trainer has lost a huge amount of weight, and she's an Instagram model now, but was a weight loss, journey person too. And then having Bob hosted, which is a little weird. You see that the show has moved completely away from Jillian, which is also interesting. They, have nothing to do with her and her ways. So maybe it'll be a little different this time around. So Bob still looks good though after his heart attack. He's still hanging in there. That's pretty cool. So let me catch up on the chat over here. So Spivey, it's good to see you, my man. And Platinum again. Hey, what's happening? Sandra, it's good to see you. Reality TV show is probably going to be dangerous. It might be, and it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to give it a shot. I would like to see, again, what the thing to worry about is the clips that I'm watching now too, these 13, 14, 15-pound weight loss weeks really make people think that that's possible at home. And it's not quite the same. And so we got to go into that with an open mind that, it's a whole different ball game for these people because it is about making money too for them. And it is about winning a prize at the end. And all of us don't have somebody to monitor every single thing we eat along the way too. So it is going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plans out. And what's happening, Jeanette from Golden Valley, Arizona. It's nice to see you. The sad part is lifestyle changes probably won't work. Well, that's what I want to see. Is this show going to be the same where they live in a house and they're locked down and all that? Because that doesn't really teach you how to grow as an individual. Whereas they get out of there and they don't have somebody monitoring them at 24 hours. Or are they going to let these people leave? Are they going to give them legitimate eating habits to change to? Or is this just going to be, we're going to feed you what we feed you and we're going to exercise you to death, and then you're going to have these big numbers, and you're going to go out on your own and not be able to maintain any of it. So all of that is up in the air. I got high hopes that they don't do that stuff, but I have a feeling it'll be very similar. So here's the first girl that they're introducing here. Looks like she's used to be a model, and she somehow let herself go. So it'll be interesting to see her backstory. Wow, she gained a lot of weight, but just like me, I mean, there was a point when I was that fit and totally went the other direction too. I think it definitely happened so quick. Um, Yeah, I agree with this lady 100%. Tomorrow never happens. For me, it was Monday. Well, I'm going to start eating better on Monday. Well, when Monday comes around or the first of the month, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I still have those tendencies to this day when it comes to like lifting weights or exercising. In my head, I'll always say, well, I'll get going Monday. And, I it's very hard to break that habit and make it an actual part of your life. But change happens right away. It doesn't, when you make up your mind, it is you shouldn't have to wait on a particular day. So that's interesting. I don't know if Bob's little yellow hair here is good for him, though. I'll tell you what, he's trying to hide the fact that he got old, but he got old. So, anyways, while we're watching the beginning of this, guys, if you let me know in the chats how much weight you guys have lost, make sure you hit the like button. See if this does well. If it does well, I'll continue to recap it every week. And if you guys don't want to see this, then we don't have to move on from it. But I felt like it was something we needed to see. You guys hear that? How much he said 40% is morbidly obese. Wow, 40%. Yeah, man, 40% of the people. That is amazing. And I can't even believe. In one hand, you're watching these guys and they're desperate and they have this opportunity to change their lives. And you know, they're doing what they can to get that done, and that is not an easy task. But on the other side of it, it's not a realistic task ever either. So I think being able to balance that's very difficult. Yeah, that stinks. When you lose somebody, that can definitely be something that emotionally hurts you. No doubt about that. Um, I think all of us have backgrounds that create some kind of um trauma, whether it be losing someone or having something tragic happen to us. And turning to food is something that we all do. And that's what she's talking about right now. 100% empathize with her and understand that. I mean, it's it's a tough road, man. And balancing this, yeah, I'm watching too, man. So I got to get the balance of knowing how much to talk and how much not to while we watch this, and kind of give my 2 cents as we go. But it's a balance. I've never done something like this before, so bear with me, peeps. If you got advice, definitely hit me in the comments. Yeah, I think you're right, Sandra. Some people turn to food, and other people turn to drugs, and some people can deal with it, and it's a balance. But I think it's difficult when you're in that situation to know that that's what you're doing. Looking back, I think it's easy to see, but when you're in it, it's tough. I think Bob was right on that. I think it is, mental, and I think it's moving more, and I think it's eating right or eating less. I think it's easier said than done. So um but I think that those are the three pillars to weight loss. It really is. And you have to have all three of them. If you neglect the mental side, you're going to fall back into eating. And if you don't move enough, you're not going to be able to create the calorie burn when you've lost weight, because you're as you lose weight, you have to take less food, and so your weight goes down, but your metabolism does too automatically. It's just the way it works because you're smaller and then you burn less energy. So therefore, you've got to be able to move more, and then you've got to put less in your body. Those are three very important things. But I also think hormones are left out of that. But I think that if you correct those three things, you can correct a lot of the hormone imbalances too. So that's something to consider. Let's see, Primo. We all don't turn to food. Tragedy of people. We need to stop saying that. Oh no, Primo. No, no. Listen, I'm not saying that that's all we turn to. I'm just saying sometimes when you lose somebody, you can turn to food. It's not an always thing. I think some people turn away from food when they lose somebody, and I think some people are able to cope with it, and deal with it. We're all different. Um, you know, Yeah, see, you just said when you're upset, you can't even eat. I totally feel that, but I also think that for some of us, you do turn. So it's a balance. Each one of us got to where we needed to go in a different way. Um, let's see here. Loser, not classy, morbid obese. I don't need to. More last year in the Super Bowl Sunday, lost almost 90 pounds. Wow, 90 pounds, Christy. That's amazing. And this guy's a football guy as we speak here too. You know, oh man, that stinks. I've been there too. For those of you that don't know, I've lost weight twice before this time and gained the weight back both times. So I empathize with him a whole bunch. I lost 80 pounds when my son was one, and I gained it all back before I lost weight this time. This time it's different because I took care of the mental side. Fasting helped me take care of the mental part, and I think that helped a bunch. You've been doing OMAD since March of last year and been following your channel as well, man. That Primo, that's awesome, man. How much have you? Are you feeling better? Did you lose some weight? Are you? Is OMAD working out well? Is it saving you time? Um, I want to hear her backstory. Cause see, I knew she lost a lot of weight. The trainer. Yeah, me too. 100%. I love it. There's no doubt. No doubt they picked a good trainer. I think here. You see, it's huge to have somebody on the show that's been there and done that and lost the weight. You know, and that's something that I think, you know, you've got to be able to have, you know. So I think that she's definitely an inspiration. It'd be interesting if they get more into how she lost the weight besides the simple parts. But keep in mind, she did show a lot of exercising in there, and that's a part that I think a lot of people are scared of. But it's a part that is truly helpful, And I was scared of it too, so I definitely feel where she's coming from there. So let me see here. You said, hi, you're from Canada. Whatever you're watching this on, I don't think it's broadcasted here. Well, Bing, it's on the USA Network. And so actually I'm watching it on Hulu, and I'm streaming it onto my phone because I couldn't watch it on my TV. I felt like it would be in the background when you guys are there and you'd hear me and them and you're trying to watch it. So, but it's on the USA network and you know, this guy is straight up ripped though. Um, it'd be interesting to see if he was ever overweight. I missed that if he was because that dude is a big dude, man. He's bringing up good points too, and good things that I think we all need to uh, address too. Because see, you saw pictures of him and he was ripped, and I've said this on this channel that a lot of time these guys go on big cuts, so they withdraw from food and they lose absolutely every bit of body fat they can, and they totally take no intake at all, and then they go on a dry fast to dehydrate their body as much water as possible so that their veins start to pop and then so that they look more fit. Then they get oiled and they take these photos and then they turn right around and they binge eat afterwards. It's exactly what he's talking about. So we look up to people sometimes and see these guys that are just completely ripped, but it's not a real representation of what they look like on a day to day basis. They trained for that moment and for that time. And so that's something we all have to consider when we're looking at, the Instagram people. I just did a video. If you guys missed it, you can check back a couple days and see it. But yeah, I think coaches are huge in people's lives. They were in mine at least. I know I wouldn't be the person I am without my coaches, so I can empathize with that too. It's going to be interesting to see how their competitions go and everything. While we're waiting for the show to develop and hit this commercial, has anybody over there got any questions, or if you got any weight loss you want to tell me about? Drop it over here and let me see what's up because this is something interesting. Tomorrow I'm gonna have a video posted around dinner time with what I eat in a week. So I know you guys want to see those. It's a short one, about 3 minutes, but it's gonna let you know the calories and everything that I ate. And then I've got one coming out on the keto diet. Probably that'll be on Wednesday, Thursday. So those are some videos for you guys to look forward to. This has got to be terrifying for them. You know, I can empathize with this one too. I don't like to get in front of weigh myself in front of people now, even when I'm light. My wrestling team will be like, "Coach, what's your weight today?" And I'm embarrassed to get on the scale, and I know I've already lost the weight. That's heartbreaking. Yeah, that's truly heartbreaking to look at yourself as not being worth anything. You know, you've got to be able to figure that out. But let me see, Sandra, you lost 90 pounds in 2012 and gained it all back. You've been losing about 10 pounds the rest of the year, but finally losing weight consistently this year. Sandra, yeah, I lost a bunch around the same time as you. Maybe it was a little bit earlier than that. It was in 10. I lost 80 and then I gained it back and then lost it this time around. I'll tell you, now that you're fasting though, I bet you weren't fasting in 2012. It's going to make a big difference for you. 307. Nope, 323. So he's 13. Well, he's roughly 11 pounds heavier than I was when I started. Yeah, I know how that guy feels too. I was right there. 293. Let's see. You've been doing OMAD walking and doing yoga for 3 months and you're down 12 pounds. That's awesome. But Thanksgiving and Christmas tipped you off. Also gained a lot of muscle and tone. Yeah, no, you're going to gain a lot of muscle. A lot of people don't realize they don't see numbers on the scale and they don't realize they're getting stronger. And yoga is amazing. My wife teaches yoga and really really into it. I think it's very underrated. Definitely is. I agree. Primo Sanders got this man. and 385. Hmm. You know, it's it's a lot of sadness. 256. She's light compared to everybody else. Hey man, should we establish a weight goal, or when we say enough is enough, I think we need to stop. I think I may need to stop losing weight and eat more. Toad, let me know what you started at, what you weigh now, what your height is, and whether you're a male or a female. And I'll give you an idea of whether I think you're done or if you need to how to adjust yourself. If you could do that for me, Toad, male, female, height, weight, and I'll be able to look at it and tell you. Let's see, Spivey doing 70 pounds doing keto. I got a keto video, Spivey, coming out tomorrow. My thoughts on keto. You've kept it off for 2.5 years. That's amazing. Yeah, Sandra, OMAD is awesomeness. You've never heard you mention um your ketone levels. Well, Tyrone, I don't do keto. Now, when I tested, I used to actually when I would go on my Monday fast, so I ate on Sundays and not Monday, and then ate on Tuesday, 409. Wow. It's almost 100 pounds heavier than I was. And 357 for a female is a lot. She's gonna really benefit from the show. Hopefully, she can keep it off. Um, but at the subject at hand, so I used to test it when I would do the long fast there. And I don't remember off the top of my head what my ketone levels would get to, but I never really got too much into it. So you're a male, 5'7", 168, and you started at 260. Um, all right, here's the thing. An interesting backstory, talking about being gay and wow, he got married. Wow. I mean, that is a tough life to be, knowing something like that and hiding it and then hurting the other person you're with. That guy's been through a lot of emotional stuff, man. But back to the subject, Toad. I think what channel is it on, Tyrone? It is on the USA Network. So whatever USA is for you, that's where it's going to be at. What's happening to various? We got to have a conversation tomorrow, my friend. Um, so, but okay. So with you at 169, you can still lose a little bit of weight and you can also live at 169. And so I wouldn't even think about it, Toad. If you got below 155, I would start worrying about eating more. Right now, Toad, if you lose, I would be in the mindset of where if I lose, it's okay. And if I don't lose, it's okay. Does that make sense? I would just kind of keep doing whatever intermittent fasting protocol you're doing now. Don't make any major adjustments, and then if you continue to lose, you're okay till about 155. And then at 155, you might want to start thinking about, okay, let me rein it back. Let me figure out, what I can do from there. But I think you still got some wiggle room there. And if you don't lose any weight, I think you're at a healthy weight too, if that makes sense. Um, I see the third week of OMAD, man. That's awesome, dude. Um, in 60, you're down to 255. What did you start at? Joe, what did you start at? As much as I did love the show in the past, what they had gone through for the ratings wasn't sustainable. I wish there was a show for if. Wouldn't that be something? Well, that's one of the reasons, Vanessa, that I wanted to watch today as we hit my first commercial break of the show. One of the reasons I wanted to watch was to see what they're going to do, and they haven't really gotten into it. Now they've weighed themselves, but they haven't really talked about what they're feeding them, what they're doing yet. Because if they do the same thing the show has always done, then ultimately they're setting these 12 people up for failure. And and I'm not saying that intermittent fasting is the only way to lose weight. I want to make that clear. Obviously, I don't think that the trainer did intermittent fasting and she lost, what did she say, 167 pounds. So there's other ways to lose weight. But what I want to know is, are they teaching these people how to leave that ranch and be a different person than they went going on to the ranch because when they're living there, it's very easy. If I come over to your house tomorrow and I follow you everywhere you go, I can make you stay on OMAD with no problem. I can make sure you do everything right. I can take you to the gym. I can work out with you. I can make sure your life is scheduled perfectly, and I could follow you around for 6 months like that. But the second I got in the car and left, now we're in a different situation. And so that is where this show needs to make it or break it. If they send these people home and they haven't prepared them, you know, then it's just something that isn't really gonna be a good situation. So that's basically what I think of it. While we're here on this break, if you guys could remember to hit that like button right there, I'd appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? YouTube goes on those likes, and right now they're like, man, nobody liking C Dub over there. So throw some likes up. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So you said you're 5'6" and 152 right now, and you'd like to drop down a little bit more. You're trying to stable on the scale, which has been done for 25 years. Look, I think you're good too. Wildwood, I think at 5'6", 152, I think you're okay to lose a little bit more. And if you stay at 152, I think you're okay too. I don't think either one of those are necessarily a terrible thing. Sorry, I gotta pop this. I just got a notification. Let me hit this real quick. But ultimately, I think all of you. I know it's bright in my face right now. I apologize for that, but um, it's a situation that you're each gonna have to navigate through. But you can always look up what your BMI should be, and once you've figured that out, then it's really simple to know whether or not you're close or not. But if you're not falling in the underweight range, I think you're totally fine at 152 pounds and 5'6". So, I think that's a good place to be. So you're 310. You were 310, and you were doing 16 and 8, and you switched to OMAD 2 weeks ago, but you're down to 155. That's impressive, man. That is impressive. Keep it up, and keep in mind that I started at 312. So I'm living proof that you can do it. And so far, it looks like they're definitely going to exercise them right off the bat, which is something that I think is very difficult too, because when you're morbidly obese, it's hard to do anything, and to get up here and to high intense train, I don't know if it's good as it would be to get them to lose weight through eating first and then adding exercise later. But it is a reality TV show, and I fully grasp that they're trying to do their best to make as much drama and as much weight as possible. If everybody lost 3 pounds in the first week, nobody would believe the show is helping anybody, which is wrong. And once again, that's my biggest problem with the show is there are people all over the planet today that are going to watch this and get expired, and they're going to get up and they're going to try to lose weight next week, and they're going to lose a pound, and they're going to be like, this isn't worth it. And they're like, "Well, I can't do it like The Biggest Loser. This isn't worth it." Because we live in a world that everything has to be today. And you might lose 10 pounds in your first week of doing something, but it's not sustainable. It's not 10 real pounds. And even for these guys, it's not 10 real pounds. So that's something for everybody to consider too. How much weight? Oh, okay. So, Spivey, to answer your question, he was at 310 and he's down to 155. So he's lost 55 pounds. So he's killing it. 55 pounds is pretty good, especially since April. So he's not quite in on a year. So I think that's doing good, man. I think he's doing fantastic. Yeah, I hope they send him home prepared too. It'll be interesting to see what the plan is there. You just named why I don't watch the show. Hey, listen, Tyrone. I thought to myself like watching the show was worthless. I'm just going to be honest with you. I felt like turning this show on was worthless because they're failing these people. And then I also felt like I'm running a YouTube channel that talks about weight loss. So covering this show is very important too. And if one subscriber watches and understands that this isn't realistic and they would have thought it was realistic, then that's a huge win for this channel. It's a huge win for all of us. but it's also, I think, a win for us to watch it and be able to discuss some of the things that are happening and whether or not they're good or positive or how they could happen on your weight loss. Like in this situation, the girl just threw up and they want to make it, something that is, um, wow, look how hard they're working. She just threw up. But is it really a positive thing to push yourself at that level when you're morbidly obese? I think when you push yourself, you know, so far, you're gonna quit if you don't have somebody in your face, and that's hard. And he's gonna have a hard time when he leaves this. If you saw his job right there, a food service manager. Can you imagine? He's got to leave this ranch and deal in some kind of food, whether restaurant or fast food. He's gonna have some trouble, you know. Um, yeah. Well, you said you love the price of walking and yoga. Just cost me a yoga mat and watch YouTube yoga videos on your Xbox. Hey, Wildwood, listen, um, my wife did yoga training through her company. So she used to go to yoga and my wife would do yoga with, this group of people. And eventually they said, hey, listen, we'd like for you to teach yoga because she's good at it and she's there all the time. And so they offered to pay for her training in yoga if she taught these bar classes, which you don't need to be certified for, but she did have to do some training there. Long story short, they basically gave my wife free training in yoga if she teaches classes, and then eventually and a free membership and this whole big deal. And now she teaches, and now she's been trained, and they pay her to teach there, but she's under a year contract. But I think in a year where she works for just this company, I think in a year she may still work there, but there's a good chance she starts a YouTube channel and does yoga for YouTube. Since this has been going well, and I think a lot of my subscribers a year from now, maybe not all of them, but let's say even 100 of them want to do yoga, they could get with her once a day or whatever. Maybe she'll do yoga 3 times a week on there. And she could do live yoga and, people could follow along with their yoga mat and rock it out right there on YouTube. So I think it's something that eventually will be in my family and people will be able to hang out with my wife and do yoga and then chat with me about weight loss and other things. I think it'll be a good combination of stuff. And by the way, you guys can drop me a comment if you guys want me to, because I've avoided doing this, but I've been lifting. Are you guys interested at all in seeing what I'm lifting and the workouts that I'm going through and what I'm doing? If I chopped those up into shorter videos, like a 10-minute video on my 45-minute weightlifting session that day and what I did so that you guys can kind of follow if you want to. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. And seeing, I just felt like even though this is a weight loss channel, um, it's a OMAD channel, or maybe not OMAD, but intermittent fasting and that kind of thing. I didn't know if you guys would want to see me lift weights and stuff. I think it's a little bit. I mean, I know that there's great channels, but I don't know that you guys have subscribed for that content. So let me know what you're thinking there. Um, yeah, Vanessa, I'll definitely consider it. If enough people want to see it, it may not hurt us. I'm also thinking in January, um, I think you're seeing a lot too here of the opposite effect of Jillian Michaels. The negative feedback she got, they're making sure the trainers are not doing that kind of way. But I think something that you know, I'm considering, I wanted to post every day in January, have a video up every day, and so far I've been able to make that happen. Today being the 28th of January, so I've got a couple more days, and then February hits. I'm not going to post every single day, but I was thinking about trying. You guys can let me know what you think of in the comments, but doing a meal a week, showing you one meal that I ate a week, which will be shorter videos, doing a live chat, answering your questions and hanging out like we are tonight. Maybe even doing, this live for a while till the show ends. If you guys like this and you want to keep doing this. But the other thing would be to oh God, running a mile. What a terrible challenge to give them. Um, and then I was thinking about doing a interview a week, sitting down with one of the YouTube weight loss warriors and have had success and just interview them and talk to them about their weight loss journey, or maybe even somebody that's lost half their weight and they want to get on here and talk about some of their problems and issues and let you guys see that. So that's 3 different videos a week. And then I wanted to do one on the science of YouTube. So 4 videos a week, and you know exactly like Mondays will be what I eat, and Wednesdays will be, or Tuesdays will be this live, and Thursdays will be science of intermittent fasting, and Saturdays will be interview with somebody that's had success in intermittent fasting. You guys think that it would be good to break the content up in that way so you know exactly what's coming? Let me know what your thoughts are on that too. Otherwise, I just keep posting kind of what I feel like you guys need to hear. Either way, I'm down. I just hear consistency sometimes is the best thing. You know, let's see here. So, um, 8 minute mile. Yeah, you're not doing that today. Um, you kept your maintenance. That's good stuff. You don't like Jillian, but you think they threw her under the bus and banned her from everything. The show is wrong. Yeah, no, no doubt they threw her under the bus. I definitely think that. I mean, she's the only one that doesn't take part in this anymore. And then she says things the other day. Like I watched her comments. I almost made a video about Jillian's comments. I don't know if you guys saw that, but she made a comment that the singer, that she was like, well, celebrate her music, but don't celebrate her body because her body's unhealthy. And everybody got all over her. And I watched her, and I don't think she was malicious in that. I think she was just trying to say to people that we celebrate things sometimes that don't make a lot of sense because there are millions of people that are watching it, and if they think that being unhealthy is okay because we celebrate this other person being unhealthy, that can be counterproductive. And I don't think that there's anything particularly wrong with that. But I almost made a video and then I just said forget it, I'll stay out of the controversy because and Tyrone says no, she was right. And I mean, look, listen, that's what we do. We unfortunately celebrate, the whole okay. I know I'm getting on a tangent while this show's on, but we take this whole health at every size movement. You can be morbidly obese and have all your health markers are on point. It could happen. Chances are it's not, but it could happen. But you can't be 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds and have your joints healthy and have your insides running at an optimal level. And so that doesn't mean you're less of a human being. It doesn't mean that you have, anybody should love you any less or any of that. But what it does mean is you could very well be taking years off your life. And we should not neglect that part of it. And that's a choice ultimately they are going to make. But at the same time, celebrating their choice, I don't know if that's a good message to, the youth of today, if you will. You know, we really need to change all of that. But of course, you can finish it. Hey, we're all stronger than we think we are. I'm going to tell you now, every one of you, your hardest critic is yourself. You are your biggest enemy, and the person in the reflection in your mirror is the person you have to beat. That is a fact. And if you can wrap your head around that, then you're on the way to success in weight loss and in life. You know, yeah, Sandra, I agree with you. I think, you know, oh, they're all about to, there's no doubt that they're all struggling. Here's the thing, Sandra, what the cameras aren't showing here is they're definitely medical professionals everywhere. So I don't know that it's, inherently mega dangerous, but I think that it's definitely not, oh, what's the word I'm looking for here? Smart to take somebody that is in the shape that they're in and continue to push them, at a high level. I don't know that that's smart. I agree with you. I think it can be dangerous and it is putting them inherently at a little bit of a risk there. And like I said, I would love for a weight loss show. Matter of fact, maybe one day I'll have a sweet enough YouTube followers to where they'll put me on a show. I would love to put on a show that gives us 1 year to change people's lives and allows you to sit down with people and really break it down and take somebody that's morbidly obese and not run them to death, but gradually bring them along with the right eating and, get their weight coming down and then increase the activity. It is interesting a lot of times on these shows, you see people that were former athletes really are able to dig deep, and grind in there, you know, and I can empathize with that a little bit, you know. Now, I'll tell you one thing that I would say is if I was on the red team, I think I would have jogged back and finished with my team, you know. Um, that's just the coach in me. Can't let your team, you know. There's no way that I would not finish with her. I like the fact that the trainer ran back, there's just no way I would have sat on the finish line while that woman was still trying to get there. It's not in my soul, man. It's not in my soul. So let me see here. Uh, Best to lose weight over a long term and keep it off 100%, man. And that's the one thing that this show is gonna. So far, it's seeming to me like it's the exact same show. Do I think OMAD is sustainable for decades? Can a binge eater ever truly go back to normal three squares a meal? This is a great question, and then I'll get to Tyrone because listen, I hear it all the time. I hear people say to me all the time when I tell them what I did to lose weight, they say it's not sustainable. And I'm like, I've been doing it for 2 years. I mean, I'm literally a month, or I guess I'm 22 months in. 22 months into to eating OMAD for one meal. And I know that there's another YouTuber that's been doing it about 6 years. So maybe even a little bit more than that. So but I saw a guy that was 100 and I forgot how old now from India, and he had just finished a marathon and he eats OMAD one meal a day, and he's been doing it since he was 20 something years old, and he's 110. I absolutely think it's sustainable. I think that for me personally, I don't want to do it any other way. I have no like right now, I don't want to eat. Like I'm gonna tell you guys, I went to a wrestling tournament this weekend, and I get there and they have this a whole hospitality room. What a hospitality room is for all the coaches. Um they stick all this food out for you to eat all day. And I got there and I had my two assistant coaches with me, and we go into that area because I was going to get a water, and it is packed full of donuts and cookies and just food on top of food, goodness, pizza. I mean, just unbelievably delicious food all over it. And I walk by and grab my water. And one of my assistant coaches, the one that's been fit, he's a three-time state champion. He's 65 years old. He's in the National Hall of Fame for wrestling. He's still in great shape. He's not the one that's losing weight right now that I'm working with. He's the opposite end of it. He's always been in shape his whole life. But he says to me, Coach, don't you want to grab a donut? Like, how do you pass in all of this stuff? What's happening, Tattoo Woman? It's good to see you. And I'm like, no, I don't. And he was like, they look so good though. And he said, I don't know how you have that kind of willpower, coach. And I was like, I have zero interest in eating it. And here's the thing, it's not that I have zero interest in eating a donut or a piece of pizza. I just have zero interest in eating it at 10 o'clock in the morning. The idea of eating at 10 o'clock in the morning actually makes me feel ill. I mean, it really does. If you go back and you think about most of you, do you think you could drink beer at 9 in the morning or drink wine at 9 in the morning? Most people can't do it, right? Because it's not the right time. Same thing with food. So I 100% think it's sustainable, Toad. I don't think I will eat another way. I kind of want to hear what Bob has to say here. See, this is what they didn't do on the last show. Yeah, this is where I thought the direction of the show would go. See, so they are addressing the mental more, but are they gonna give give them a plan when they leave? That's the big question. Okay, I think the snake juice guy is doing that with the 300-pound woman. I mean, the 400-pound woman. Yeah, I know she seems to be doing well though, Tyrone, for sure. Yeah, I don't wanna eat 3 times a day either. Maybe 2 med once a week. Yeah, I think that's fine. Look, my dad did OMAD and he got down to his army weight, and now he does OMAD 4 days a week, and 3 days he doesn't. I was a little shocked that Bob had a heart attack too. Oh, Tyrone, man, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate it. Man, hey, dude, that 10 spot means the world to me, my brother. And thank you for the subscription. They won't let me have members yet, but hopefully one day that YouTube will let me have members. But man, I appreciate you, dude. That is amazing. Thank you, brother. I would enjoy if you mixed your meals, maybe walking vlog. I would enjoy it if you mixed in meals, maybe a walking vlog to talk about how much you move personally. I don't do weights right now, but it would be interesting. Well, Wildwood, that's walking too. Maybe I should do a walking vlog once a week. Or how about this? How about a whole day? Like showing me get up and lift and then my walks and kind of go over my walks and how they went throughout the day and kind of do a full calorie burn on what I did from weights and walking and then what I ate that day. Man, that would be a really good video all the way through to the one meal. I'm going to tell you what, I think I'm going to work on that wild wood because I think that those things together would be powerful. Showing you that I work out in the morning when I'm lifting, how much I walked that day, what my exact steps are, the total calories I burnt lifting, work and walking together, plus what I ate that night. And that'll give you a real indication of what's going on. A full day vlog, and I could probably do it in 10 minutes, 10-15 minute video. I would imagine. Penny, it's good to see you. 3 meals is too much. I think 3 meals is too much for anybody on planet Earth. That's just my 2 cents. But you know, um, I just couldn't see myself talking about personal issues on camera for the whole world to see. Yeah, that's tough. It is tough. I think some people are built for it, Sandra, and some people aren't. And I respect that you're not. I mean, you know, there's two ways of looking at things sometimes. And yeah, these people, you can look at them like they're making fools of themselves, and people are sitting at home laughing at them in their own house. But when I started this YouTube channel, I felt like people were going to laugh at me. I felt like people would watch my journey and say, "Well, he's not that impressive." It wasn't that big a deal. And it turns out that I'm helping a lot of people. So putting yourself out there is just amazing. But wow, he's getting personal with him. That's tough to deal with when you're standing there talking about your doctors, like your cholesterol. Wow, that's tough. That's super tough. Yeah. And what do I think about Bob? What did I think about when Bob had a heart attack? I was shocked. I was still overweight when he had a heart attack. I don't know what year he had a heart attack, but actually, I'm going to tell you what I probably was thinking. What I probably was thinking is that guy works out every day and he still had a heart attack. And I was probably thinking, like, I'm fat and I ain't had one yet. It's overrated. Health and fitness is overrated because that's kind of the mentality I had was like, whatever, dude. Like, I'm fat. So what? You know, and it's just crazy. I agree with this guy 100%. I, I'm glad he sees it that way because that's the beginning of change to know that he did it himself. You know, um, type 1 diabetes is a tragedy. Type 2 diabetes is you know a difficult thing to deal with, but it is most of the time self-inflicted. That's tough to deal with. 100%. I'll tell you what though, man, I wish they would, hire me to do a weight loss show, I really do. Let's start the petition over here to get C-Dub on his weight loss show. What I wanna do, and this would be a brilliant idea for a weight loss show, you take, like, a keto expert, a paleo expert, a low fat expert, you take a personal trainer, you take a every single kind of thing you could think, and you stick them all out there, and you give them 8 people each or something, and you see who can really change somebody's life over the course of an entire year. And I'd like to see because I bet you $5 OMAD stands up against all of them, and I bet you I'd leave that house with a bunch of people that ate OMAD with no exercise in the first 5, 6 months of their journey. We wouldn't even exercise. We would just do OMAD. That's all we would do. You know what I'm saying? And my group would just start losing weight, and then we would start adding exercising in for the last, 6, 5, 6, 7 months. And my guys would crush it. You know what I'm saying? We would literally crush it. I think it's a great idea too, man. Are you watching Tattooed Woman? Are you watching The Biggest Loser, or are you just hanging with us tonight? Because it's interesting. I don't think it's changed much. You wonder how many contestants would get if they took away the prize money. Sandra, none is the answer to that question. Nobody's going to go on TV. Listen, this is something that you got to kind of wrap your head around too. I think is all of these people. Yes, they want to lose weight, but they also see that there's money involved. And not only do they also see that there's money involved, but I also think that on the other end of this, they gain such a presence. You think about this. Think about if I were to take my audience and let's say that I was right now 312 and I was building an audience that was as large as I have now with 3,000, 500 or so subscribers. So I have 3,500 people that are following me and and now I'm overweight and I go on to this reality show. Now I know that those 3,500 that are subscribing to me now because of this show are going to grow to be 100,000, 200,000, a million followers following me once this show's over with. So their ability to not just make money because they won the prize here, but the exposure that they get is huge. And the same thing with the two trainers. You think about it, I saw the salary that they were getting paid for this, and it's not very much. They're getting paid not a lot of money. You would think they're getting paid more, the two trainers. But both of the trainers have YouTube channels and they have Instagram channels. I mean Instagram pages with tons of followers. So now everybody that's watching this tonight, which will get probably 10 million viewers, 5 to 10 million was the expected viewers for tonight's broadcast. Those people are now exposed to these new two fitness people that are selling their own courses. And matter of fact, right now, I promise you, I've already looked because I looked both of them up. Both of them have websites where they sell their own fitness classes and courses. So both of these two trainers are on this show 100%, not because of the 50 or $60,000 they're getting paid to be on TV right now. It's the exposure and the chance for them to sell many, 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 many more hundreds of $1,000s of courses to other people. And then the other people on the show are not only fighting for that prize money, but they're fighting for the Instagram followers and the whatevers too. And there are probably a few that want, to get healthy. And some of them look at it as a two-way street too. You're looking at it like, well, I can get healthy and maybe win money. I could get healthy and, get more followers. But there's no doubt that, I'm going to tell you now, if they started a reality TV show tomorrow, the one that I just said, where they took people from different diets and they're like, hey, listen, C Dub is the OMAD man of the world. We're going to bring him on the show. I guarantee you they wouldn't have to pay me squat to get me on there because I know that people are going to come to my channel, which inherently is going to help me, financially, but it's also going to help me change people's lives, which is what I'm in the business of doing. But I 100% think that that's, a big, huge part of this. Um, and I do think one day there will be a day when I am the OMAD, I'm the OMAD man. I think that people will come to me for OMAD down the line. And when people think about intermittent fasting, they may think of so and so. When they think of keto, they may think of so and so. When they think of OMAD, one meal a day, they're gonna be talking about, this dude right here. Because I'm not gonna stop grinding, you know, and hopefully the channel keeps growing, but that's your biggest gripe. They're still wanting to do anything short term for money. So it's not a sustainable change. No, you're right. That's the problem. Now you can do it for money and for your own health and make it a dual thing, but you're not going to sustain it if it's not something to do with your health. If you're there just for the cash, then you're definitely going to gain the weight back. You're 100% going to gain the weight back. If you really cared about people's health, you wouldn't send no one home. It's all about the ratings. No, Primo, I agree with you on that 100%, man. I agree with you. Or you would send them home to start with. You know, you want to give somebody a realistic chance to be successful. And when you keep them enclosed for 12 weeks or whatever length of the show is, and you train them hard for that amount of time, and then you let them into the real world, you're not, unless you're giving a like a weekly, now maybe they'll do that too when we see this. Maybe they'll have trainers in their own hometown and they'll buy them like a 2 or 3 year membership to a nutritionist and trainer in their own city. That would be hugely helpful for these people. If the Biggest Loser said, for being on the show, we'll bring you in, we'll get you a trainer for 3 years and a nutritionist for 3 years. That would be a big help. But maybe even a psychologist to help work through everything. But that's just my 2 cents. Yeah, that's all about the ratings, 100% for everybody involved. You know, it is what it is. Let's see here. You actually followed the female trainer for about 2 years and immediately recognized her when they were promoting the show on TV. She's inspiring, and I hope she will do the show and test some positive change. Well, I'll tell you, her story's amazing, and she's been very emotional and seems like a sweetheart on the show so far. No doubt about it. And she does have a huge, she is hugely inspirational. So let's see how these weigh-ins go. I'm expecting that these numbers are going to be ridiculous. And again, this is the part of the show that bothers me the most because I know there's 10 million people watching now, between 5 and 10 million people, and half of them think that what these people are doing is possible in reality, and it's really not. So I'm really hoping that her background with obesity will make her a better trainer. Yeah, I think it will. I think it's always good to have a trainer that's been obese, in my opinion, or somebody you're looking up to that's been there. You don't want to look up to people that have never been there. Like Bob, love him, great guy or whatever. He's never had to lose weight. He's been skinny his whole life. You know, um, yeah, that's too much. Like it's right. 13 pounds in 1 week. Oh yeah, 13 pounds. Of course, water weight. I mean, realistically, I don't know how much exercising they did, but you're talking about like maybe 2 pounds of actual fat, maybe three if he was really grinding. Um, and being that he's overweight, it could be double that. So let's say 6 real pounds, of fat could have got burned off his body in a week, but that's just not it. 13 pounds is not real. No doubt about that. Yeah, that's my biggest problem with The Biggest Loser the first time around and this time around, right? Is they never show you what they're eating. Like, what are these guys eating? What is their diet? And do they have an option when they sit down at the ranch? Do they want to talk to them about lifestyle eating choices? Did they mention to them, they could be intermittent fasting? Who knows? They could be doing keto. They could be doing both. They could have choices, and you might have some people doing keto and some people not, but they don't talk about it. And that's a problem too, because you at home, you've got to figure it out. You've got to figure out how to lose weight. If you're watching this and you're inspired, you know, they haven't mentioned nutrition at all. The only thing Bob said was you have to have nutrition, you have to move, and you have to have mental in order for it to work out for you. And other than that, that's been about all I said. So let's see here. She was at 290. Now she is at boom, 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 11 pounds. Everybody's hitting double digits. You know what's crazy in my weight loss journey? I think I hit double digits twice, maybe. Am I 125 pounds? I think I might have hit it twice. In the double digits, I'm going to tell you guys, we're early in the weight loss within the first month. And in the double digits, I never, um, I never had a great week the next week. If I lost 10 or 12, I came back the next week and lost 1 or 2. That's just something to think about. But I did have a couple of huge weeks in the beginning. I think we all do. I think when you first make a lifestyle change, you have huge losses. You know, what's crazy is the emotion that, she's going through and feeling there. I think we can all relate to it. When you have that good day on the scale, it feels good. Problem is, I don't know that it's real for her, but and that makes me sad too. But boy, it gives me some flashbacks to some good memories of seeing the scale move. Something else for us to consider, while you guys are thinking and watching this is I watched Obese to Beast's video where he had Zach attacks fat on there this week, and Zach has regained weight. And listening to Zach regain weight and talk about having to lose weight as a loss influencer was really powerful because one of the things he mentioned in that video was the fact that the first time you lose weight, you're happy every single week because you're losing weight and the scale's moving and you're excited. And then if you regain the weight and then you're losing the weight again, you don't feel the sense of excitement because you feel like you've done it to yourself and you shouldn't be in that situation. And that's something interesting if you have a weight gain for you guys to consider. I never thought about that being that I've been able to keep it in maintenance. But I can see where if I did gain weight, having to lose it again, I'd be upset at myself. So knocked off 10. I don't even know how they vote people off, which is another problem with this show, by the way. If you're really in there to help people get healthy, then why should they vote any of them off? They should stay on it the whole 12 weeks, no matter what, you know? I could tell the second the show started that this lady has some personality. I'll tell you what, she's a trip. I love the way they jump the scale up and down too, just to create drama for you. You're like, oh, and then you're like, oh. See, and this is the part of the show too that just this part of the show's there's 6 pounds is amazing, and the show doesn't celebrate it. I want to mention that the show has such a ridiculous standard that it's sneezing at 6 pounds, and some of us at home sneeze at like 5 pounds, and we sneeze at 3 pounds. I get comments, to my Instagram all the time. Help me! I'm only losing a pound and a half a week, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't need help. You're doing great. Like we get caught up in this giant weight loss culture. 6 pounds in a week is amazing. 6 pounds in a week is amazing. Okay, so you said, what are you doing watching it right now? Yeah, I'm actually sitting here, tattooed woman. I'm sorry, and I'm watching The Biggest Loser. That's why the headphones are in, so you guys won't hear it. It's gonna come on Tuesday nights at 9. So I think in Tattooed Woman that I'm gonna watch the season and talk about it as it goes on here. And you know, that way you guys can follow along and we can kind of just have a powwow about it. We can talk about our journey while we do it and kind of a weekly live. I think it would be fun to cover the show. If the video does awful and y'all don't want to see it, then I won't do it. But I definitely felt like it's something that we could cover together and we could kind of figure out. Well, somebody's got to lose the most amount of weight, for sure. So let's see what else we said here. Yeah, you're good. And Made those graphics already. Yeah, we're watching it now. Um, I'm on your TV. Hey, I like the sound of that. I like being on your TV. That's good stuff, man. Um, it's funny you've never seen them have issues with loose skin. Who doesn't have issues with loose skin there, Tyrone? The Biggest Loser people? I think if you go back and you look at them, they do have major issues with loose skin. On the show in the finale, you can see it hanging off of them. But loose skin, again, is genetic. I had somebody write me on Instagram yesterday and give me this big long speech about how I say it's not genetic and how they've lost 100 pounds and they have no loose skin because they do intermittent fasting. And I'm like, there's for every one of you that's that way, there's one of you that does intermittent fasting that has loose skin. You just can't, there's just no credibility to saying that loose skin, that fasting cures loose skin. It's just not credible because there are people out there that fast that will be highly upset with you if you said that to them because they still have loose skin. And, that's coming from a guy that fasted and doesn't really have that much loose skin. I really think that it's just a genetic thing, man. And when I lost weight when I was a kid, I had 0 loose skin. I went from being 290-ish pounds to 160-ish pounds when I was 16 and went straight to a six pack. And you would have never known I had an ounce of fat on me, you know? No, they don't talk about it. In the past, they never mentioned the loose skin on them. I have seen other shows. There's a show that the trainer, I don't know what it's called, but he goes to your house and he trains you for a couple of weeks and then he leaves and then he meets you in 6 months and then he meets you after a year and he gives you advice and you lose weight. And they give the contestants surgery, almost every one of them, if they reach his goals. So I think major weight loss most of the time, the mass media, like The Biggest Loser, would push surgery on you. That's what they would say is you should do surgery. Holy moly. I mean, that's not even 22 pounds. That's I don't even know how that happens. 22 pounds. It's just impossible. Think about how much 22 pounds of fat is. Let me get my calculator out. Wow, man, I'm on my phone. I can't get my calculator out. Just to wrap our head around that for a half a second is 3,500 calories in a pound. 3,500 calories in 1 pound. So we take that times 20. 2 times 3 is 6. That's 60 plus thousand calories to burn 20 pounds. So you think about whatever he ate this week. Let's say he did not eat a single thing. I just want to point this out there for the viewers that if that guy did not eat a single thing, he fasted for the entire 7 days and got on the scale. That would mean that he burnt 65,000 calories when the average person burns 3,000 in a day living. So even if you say he was morbidly obese and he burns twice that, so he burns 6,000 calories a day, that would be amazing. That's an amazing amount. He had to burn through exercise roughly 4 to 5,000 calories. And if you think about getting on a treadmill to burn that much fat, to get on a treadmill for an hour, you burn roughly what? I don't know, 300 calories? So he would have had to work out and not eat for the entire week, 24 hours of the day in order to lose 20 pounds of actual body fat. It's physically impossible. That was a bunch of water. And keeping in mind that he was also the one that had type 2 diabetes, which means he was retaining a ton of water. And we also don't know in this situation, the show could have put him on keto because keto is medically accepted as a diet that takes care of type 2 diabetes. So they could have put him on keto, which because he has no carbs, all of that gets washed out of him. All the water gets washed out of him, all the carbs get washed out of him, and you can lose those massive numbers like that. So it's on the USA Network there, tattooed woman, the USA Network. It's going to be every Tuesday at 9 my time. I think it's 9 across the board. So whatever your time is, 9 o'clock, but my time 9. And if it doesn't match up to, you can always watch along by when my live starts pushing play on your DVR, and I mean not my live, but when you watch the replay, if you didn't catch it live, and then you'll know what's going on. What's happening, Mika? It's good to see you. Super good to see you. How have you been? I'm over here watching The Biggest Loser and commenting on stuff. It's super good to see you. I know I haven't been able to comment on your channel. They took away Mika, just to let you know. If you haven't seen her channel, guys, go check out Mika. She's amazing. They took away my ability to reply to YouTube videos on my work computer, and that's where I did most of my replying. Now I have to reply on my phone, which makes things much more difficult now. So I haven't been able to comment too much on your videos, but I'm still watching them. I'm still supporting you. I still love you, Mika. So I guess he got sent home. It's neat he talks about his why, because I do think having a reason why is a big way to get the weight losing. And my two sons were definitely my reason why, you know. So you can definitely tell he's lost some weight. So that's good. Let's check out what happens this season on Biggest Loser here. Couple more challenges. You know, yeah, that's why you're here, though, is missing your daughter. I mean, yeah, that's exactly right. He's getting it done. I don't even remember that guy. Oh, that's the guy that lost the 22 pounds. Never mind. He just beard got a little bit longer. That's what you got to becomes a beast. So let's see, Maka. You said they did. You haven't heard. You haven't heard of the weight loss of the reboot? Yeah, it just started tonight, Mika. It's on USA Network. It's going to be on every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, your time. So, matter of fact, if you're behind me, it should be starting. So I'm on the East Coast. So, being that I think you're in the Central Time Zone. So yours should have just started 11 minutes ago. So if you scroll USA Network, you should be able to check it out. I'm about to recap my thoughts on the whole show here in a second. Are they counting calories? It did not mention, and that's kind of where I want to go with my recap. I'm going to go ahead and take these earphones out because I'm tired of them being in my ear. But real quick, just to let you know, so after watching the show, here's kind of my thoughts. First of all, I didn't see a whole lot of differences between the original show and this one. Both cases, they brought these people in. The original show had 16. This group had 12. And so they brought them in and they put them on two different teams of six, and they made them run a mile, and they had them in the gym every single day. They did not speak at all on what they were eating. They just said that they were going to work on all three phases of weight loss, and what they called the three phases of weight loss were the moving more, having less food, and taking your emotional support into consideration. And so the biggest difference between this show in the original show was they had group therapy where they sat down and they hung out with Bob and they talked about their lives. And Bob sat down and brought up some of what each one of them went to the doctor. So they brought up some of what they had seen with the doctor. So they were like, you have high cholesterol, you have type 2 diabetes, those kind of things. But ultimately, what I got out of the show is it's going to be very similar to the original one. Now, they did not talk about what they were going to do when they left the ranch. The original one, they just let you walk out the door and they didn't talk to you again. And they brought you back for the final challenge, and then they left you alone in your regular life. I'm hoping, like I said earlier on this broadcast, that what they do is they provide them at home care, because you've basically babysat these people, which isn't realistic. Mika, could you imagine if I got to move in with you for a year and I showed up every single day, at 7 in the morning, and I made sure we went to the gym, and I watched you all day long and made sure you didn't eat the wrong things or eat at all. I made sure you stuck to OMAD. I exercised you multiple times a day. I was there when you went to bed at night, and I was able to do that for a year. Obviously, you're going to have great results, right? The hard part comes in when I walk out the front door. But if they gave you support when you get home to where you have a nutritionist that can set you up on meals, and then they're able to set you up with maybe the right kind of trainer that can help you on the physical side, and some emotional support there too at your own local area. Maybe that'll help the people when they leave the ranch, because the ranch is just not a realistic avenue for weight loss. And I think that that's what I get out of the show. So basically, if people do watch it in the replay, and you guys that are watching it now, I'm definitely going to post. Obviously the video will post when it's done. But if you guys could comment down before, if watching this video with me, watching the show, hearing my thoughts on it, if it was entertaining, if it was something you guys would like to do, or next week would you like to go to a regular kind of Q&A? Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll put a poll up in my community tab this week, saying vote to whether you'd rather me recap this weekly with you or just have a question and answer live, because I can do either one of them. I like the show. I just don't I find the show entertaining. And I find that people losing weight is a helpful thing, but I feel like they are setting them up for failure. I do think the trainers they hired, especially the female trainer, are better than the previous trainers that they've had on all of the other shows, because she's been there and done that. And although he never was overweight, he has had some issues binge eating and things. Although I don't buy into his story as much as I buy into her story. Not only did she lose 160 something pounds, but I believe she beat cancer as well. That lady's a trooper, and she knows what it needs to be done. Even if she's not an intermittent faster, she definitely has an idea of what needs to be done. She's also kept her weight off for 5 years. So, in case you guys were wondering, that makes her in that 2% success rate. So, she's killing it. You guys, if you got any questions, you can leave them for me over there. But at the end of the day, I think, it's just not the show's not exactly the most realistic thing. Um, you know, yeah, I feel you, tattooed woman. I do think, and another thing I could do too, if people are interested in, is maybe instead of doing it live and watching it with everybody, another thing is maybe I could do a quick recap, and post it on, like record a video right when it goes off the air on whatever day this is, and then just recap it Tuesday nights. And so then, at 10:30 at night, a 5-minute video on my thoughts on that show. And then that save people some time and allow you, because I do think the Q&As give everybody a little bit more time to sit down and you know what I'm saying, get to hear a little more about my journey and other people's journey. And I think that's what makes my Q&A special, is the fact that we get to hear about each other's weight loss successes, and we get to hear about each other's questions, and everybody gets to put their 2 cents in, because you might ask me a question that another member of this channel, subscriber to this channel, has an answer for that's different than mine, that might be able to help you too. So I like coming together as a community for the Q&A probably a little bit more, but we'll see. And for those of you that weren't on earlier, I have a meal posting tomorrow. It's only about a 3-minute video, but it's what I ate for dinner, and I got the calorie count, the whole 9 yards. So you guys are going to like that a lot. That video is short and sweet. It'll post tomorrow about dinner time, about 6 p.m. my time, East Coast. And then I have so that'll be on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, which will be so that's the 29th. On the 30th, I will have a video posting about the keto diet. And I will close it out with some video on the 31st. And then I will have posted a video every single day in the month of January. I will not do that for the month of February. I will be posting back to probably 4 times a week. As I told you guys before, I'm thinking about, splitting it into a few more topics so that you guys kind of have an idea better what's going on there. And thanks for saying good job. I know, Mika, you're going to like the what I ate this week. I think it's a good indication, and I'm going to try to do that more often. I feel like you guys want to see it. Here's my problem with the what I eat in a meal videos. They always do well. always do well. And so you would think, CW, you're smart. When you post a video and it does well, the best thing for you to do is to do that video again and again and again. Recycle that video until you can't, until people don't want to see it really, because it gains subscribers and viewers every single time I post one. But every time I post one, I feel like I'm trying to fill more time with nonsense because I don't want to post a video that's 3 minutes long. So what I did this time was I just said, forget it. I'm going to post a 3-minute video. I'm going to show you what I ate. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to give you the details. I'm going to give you the calorie breakdown and I'm going to post it. And if it does well, then I'll just keep posting 3-minute videos. Why? And maybe I'll do a 5-minute here because I'll talk about a topic at the end of it or something, real briefly that I want to touch bases on. But for the most part, if you're interested in what I'm eating, why am I wasting your time with a 10-minute video showing you that, throwing football with my kids or something like that, just because I feel like you need to watch it. Another thing I'm going to do, and if you weren't on earlier, is I think in the next 2 weeks or so, I'm going to show an entire day. I'm going to get up, show me going to the gym, briefly go over kind of my workout routine, come back, show you my walk, kind of go over the steps of each walk in the day that I do, show you my total step count at the end of the day, the calories that I burnt in the end of the day walking, and how many calories I burnt lifting weights. Show you the different time that I spent doing each one. I spent this much time walking, this much time lifting, and how the calorie differences are there. And then talk about what I ate that night and how that relates to what I burned. And then that way, you guys can see an entire day of what my life is. And then maybe even down the road, I'll do like a regional wrestling tournament and show you kind of how I have to get up so early and how I have to get the steps with the wrestling team and the night in a hotel, and kind of give you a summary of how I'm still getting my steps in and what my weight's like and whether or not I fasted that full day, and kind of just give you some insight into a few different days. I don't want to bore you with that day in and day out, but I do think it would be helpful to get a few times, about my full day and kind of where my exercising is as opposed to my eating. Because the number one question that I get, is always calorie based. In the video I have posted tomorrow, spoiler alert, my dinner was under 2,000 calories. So when people watch that, they see that and they say, well, you're not eating enough. But the problem is the next night I might eat more. And so, it's never an easy, I'm going to eat under 2,000 calories every night, because I might eat 1,800 this night. I might eat 2,500 the next. And, that's just something that I think people need to figure out the balance. But a lot of it also has to do with overall how your day's going. And if you're lifting and walking and you're moving, you're going to be able to eat more than a day when you're just chilling out. So, anyways, I see that 21 people have made it this far. Man, that's awesome. I appreciate each one of you for sure. Has anybody got any questions before I hop off of here? I would love to grab a quick question. If you guys have it, and Robin, you think it would be a great idea and would be very helpful. That's what I'm going to try to do, but give me about 2 weeks, because this time of year, just so you guys know right now too, my last wrestling match is this weekend, and then it's the postseason. So we got to get ready for regionals and states. And I have a break week between my last match and the regional tournament where we only practice. We have no matches. So that week, I'm going to be able to catch up on a lot of stuff. So I probably can film a full day that week very easily. Where right now, I'm just busy, 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 busy. My mom just had surgery today on her eye. So I was actually at the hospital all day with her, which was very interesting, trying to get 10,000 steps while waiting for your mom to come out of surgery without leaving the hospital, which I did do. By the way, I ended up getting 10,311 steps today, which is way low, but I did get 10,000 steps, and I did it without leaving the waiting room. So, it does go, and I guarantee you there were people in the waiting room looking at me like I was an idiot. But I even told the nurses and stuff, I said, look, I got to get my steps in. So, and I went up and down the hallway some. I gave her my cell phone number, so if she came out of surgery, I could, I would know immediately. But it was a little bit difficult. So tomorrow, I actually waking up early and taking the boys to school, and then taking her to her follow up after the surgery, where they sit down and take the bandages off and make sure everything went well. And then I'm going to drop her off straight to my walk. I'm going to go on probably a 2-hour walk straight to wrestling practice, come home and go to jujitsu with the boys, come home and edit a video to make sure I have one for Friday, film and edit a video, because I do have Thursdays Wednesdays and Thursdays done, but I need one for Friday so I can close out the month every day. So as you can see, it's busy, but I will get one of those videos a day in the life. Just give me till like, November like November 14th or so, Valentine's Day ish. I will have that video for you guys. And I also promise that once wrestling season ends, I'm going to hit the streets and find more people to interview. Every time I do an interview, it seems to do well on the channel, but I just with wrestling season been too busy to do them. So this spring, I'm going to have some success stories for you guys. And if you have a success story or you want to be featured, on a success story, I would love to interview you. And even if you're not, like Mika, I know you're not done with your journey, but if you want to talk about your journey and how it's going and how much you've lost and the struggles you've had, I'd love to interview you too. I want to bring in as many people as I can and let them talk about their story so that more people feel, the love and support and the people out there that are in the middle of a journey too. Um, where are you at right now, Mika? 199? That's where you want to be. Are how close are you to 199 now? Or did you get to 199 real quick? But anyway, so I got a lot going on, but I can't wait. And I can't wait to see how this channel grows this year. It's gonna be great. And hopefully hopefully we'll pick up some serious momentum. You're too embarrassed. No, okay, so you're in the 220s. Okay, hey, you're gonna get there, Mika, man. We believe in you and we are here to support you, Mika. No doubt about it. So go over to her channel and show her some love, guys. She's amazing. All of you are amazing. If you're watching it in the replay, guys, you're gonna see it popping up right here. It's gonna be a video that I want you to check out. It's gonna be my thoughts on The Biggest Loser reboot when I originally did my video a couple of months ago when I found out that it was happening. Thank you for calling me amazing, Mika. You're amazing too. And right over here is my face. That'll subscribe you to this channel. I know I need to update my picture, guys. I'm going to get that done for you soon. I promise. A lot of good stuff happening on this channel in the next 4 or 5 months. I love you guys. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.